Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. It's me, Alex, one half of the YA room, and I'm here today to show you a whole bunch of books that I'm sentimental over. I am a big fan of feeling nostalgic and kind of just revisiting books that you read when you were younger. I feel like it's a really good way to get me out of a reading slump, and I really enjoy it. So I just gathered a pile of books that kind of really get my feels going, and they're books that I remember reading in high school and really enjoying, and they're something that I'll go back to from time to time and like reread the whole series just because I feel like they're fantastic reads, or were when I read them. So let's just tuck into that, shall we? First and foremost, the book that I have is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling, the Harry Potter series in general. Just a classic, something that everyone was reading. The movies were amazing, so everyone was always picking these up. So yeah, of course I have to add this one to the list. It was something that I reread the whole series last year and listened to the audios as well, and like flicked through the illustrated editions. I think they're really gorgeous. They're just always going to be something that I always reach for, I reckon. Sometimes you just have books that are like that. Next, I've got a book that a lot of people claim that they don't think I've read or really enjoy, and that one is Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. I've had a few people come up to me saying, I didn't know that you liked Peter Pan, and I'm just like, I definitely don't have 5 copies of it and a poster anywhere and like have like little kind of journals and stuff about it at all. It's just, I find the story like really touching. I've seen several different analyses of it saying that it's like this really creepy thing, but when I read it when I was in high school, I just really liked it. And the movies I enjoyed, like Jeremy Strumpton, is that his name? He's gorgeous and I would have married him, but then he grew up. So it's just one of those things that I think is just a really quick read, and it's a classic as well, so that's interesting. I don't really read classics. This one is a book that I've seen the movie a lot more than I've read it. It's really short, but it's by Neil Gaiman, and that one is Stardust, which is basically about this boy, and he lives behind this wall. And one day he sees a falling star and he goes to the girl that he likes, if I get that, will you like accept my proposal? And she's like, sure. So he crosses the wall, and beyond this wall there is actually all these mystical and magical creatures, like there's witches and stars that are actually humans, everything like that. So I think it's just got a lot of fantastical elements to it. I definitely would prefer the movie over it though. I feel like the movie is a lot more engaging over the novel, but it's still something that I would reckon I'd find myself going back to from time to time. This one is actually one of the first series that I fangirled over. I actually remember emailing the author of my school email from high school saying how much I adored her book, and I never reached out to an author like that before. So it was really interesting, and she replied kindly, and then she even gave me a few writing tips, which was really sweet of her. And this one is Celine Kieran's The Poison Throne, the first one in the Mohawk trilogy. I really enjoyed it. I've read the whole trilogy. I borrowed it from high school, and then one day I was like, what is that series? And I had to go hunting, and I found them all on Brotherhood Books, which is a secondhand bookseller, and I was really lucky to find those. I've recently been lending them to my friend so she can read them, so we can fangirl together, but it's just kind of really gorgeous. It's one of the first books that I've read that had a glossary at the back of all the different words used that were in Irish dialect, I believe, and I don't really remember that much about the main plot, but I remember the characters and what I loved about them, so it's definitely something that I enjoy rereading. Of course, I cannot forget to include Terrier, the Tamora Pierce one. This is Rebecca Cooper, the series, and again, I think I was just really into fantasy when I was in high school. It was something that I was always reading and picking up, especially those ones set in like the older times where it like wasn't as modern, more a bit medieval, I guess. But this one basically is about a girl who's a dog meaning like a watchman police officer, I guess, and her going through that, but she also has a companion who's a cat and she can talk to it and everything. So again, there's those magical elements, and I really enjoyed it. I haven't read the third one in the series. I've been planning to do a reread of them so I can kind of finish it on a good refreshed note. But I have been known to cry a few times while reading the series, and especially because Tempest and Slaughter just came out. I've also got Inkheart by Cornelia Funk. This one again is a movie which I really enjoyed, which is why I ended up picking up the novel. I feel like the novel goes a lot more in depth about all the situations, and it's just a really cool concept. Basically, her father, when he reads stories out loud, things change and things happen. So things come out of the story, but for something to come out of the story, something needs to be taken. And he doesn't read stories to his daughter because of this. And then one day she starts reading, and lo and behold, he has the exact same talent. This one is a trilogy, again, one that I never finished, but I always go back and reread Inkheart because I really adore the story. I've also got a series that I remember my primary school teacher actually reading to us during reading time when I was in primary school, and it took me a really long time to follow this up because whenever I tried to explain the premise to someone, people didn't know what I was talking about, and they're just like, yeah, maybe you misheard the whole year that the teacher read a book to you. So when I found it one day, I bought the whole series because I was really excited, and that is Enid Blyton's The Adventures of the Wishing Chair. Basically, these two young children decide to buy their mother a gift from an antique shop, and it's a chair, and turns out the chair has wings and can take them places. And so they go on all these little adventures, and kind of there's morals behind some of the stories, but I think it's just really fun, easy, quick read, and it's really engaging, especially for younger children, which I guess is why I would have liked it so much when I was younger. I've also got Cassandra Clare's The City of Bones, the first one in the Mortal Instruments. It was something I read when I was younger in high school, and I was basically in love with Jace Wayland. He was my everything. I loved him. I would always look up fan art of him and just want to have him in my life, to have him to hold till death do us part. Again, I never finished the series. I don't know what's wrong with me loving all these series and these novels that are a part of it and never actually completing it. However, that is something I hope to do this year. But City of Bones is definitely one that I always go back and reread. I just never make it past that in my rereads. But I love it. I love the fantasy. I think that's what I was really into, which is when I started realizing I wasn't actually a contemporary person. So it took me a while to figure that out, but just going through this pile, I realized how much I kind of relied on fantasy to keep me engaged as a reader. Second last, I've got Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. I've seen a lot of people currently rereading this one, and it's making me actually want to pick it up as well. But basically it is vampires and kind of half vampires living in this academy that runs on a different schedule. And these two main characters that we have are actually connected through some sort of bond, and we kind of follow their story. And it's really interesting. I really liked it. I really loved how it was kind of really educational, kind of spoken about the Romanian terms like Mori and Dampfire and Strigoi, and the character development I really enjoyed as well. And Dimitri was also the love of my life, which is why when I saw the movie and Dimitri was this someone who was not attractive to me, I was so disappointed because I had so many better kind of Dimitris in my head. I think the movie is trash compared to this novel, but if you watch it aside from that, I think it's quite an enjoyable movie. But I definitely think I'll be rereading this one soon because I know that Brett, one of our good friends, has been reading it, so it's kind of really inspired me, so I'm hoping to pick that one up soon. I bet you thought I wasn't going to talk about any more books, but I've actually got Poison Study by Marie V. Snyder. I love her whole series, again kind of set in that medieval kind of time period where there's still kings and queens and commanders and things like that. But it's really interesting. So this girl, basically, she has been tried and she is going to be hung for her crimes, but she gets an ultimatum from this person who works for a commander named Valak, and he goes, look, you can be a poison taster who's gonna die anyway, or you can be hung and have a violent death today. And of course, any human being, survival is key, so they want to prolong their life. So she chooses poison taster, but the region that she'll be working in actually has a ban on magic, which of course she kind of has, so that makes more complications. And it's just a story that I love so much. I really enjoy the characters and the atmosphere and the environment of it all. It's just such a good thing to get me out of a reading slump, and I really treasure it. So I actually had the pleasure of meeting Maria Snyder when she came to Supernova, I think in 2016, so that was really awesome. I lined up like 5 times to meet her, so that was great. So I think that's all from my sentimental reads, so let's see how many I can stack up. Usually you do like the widest at the bottom, because I'm feeling like a rebel, I'm not gonna do it that way. Wow, I should have done it the other way. So these are some books that I find really sentimental and really help me get out of a reading slump. If you guys have read any of these and there's something that there's some of your favorites, let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, drop a comment and leave your favorite and I might have to check it out. Anyway, that's all from me. My arm is getting really sore. So I will see you in another video. Oh, lucky I have a chair.